are then cleared and should be released, and sometimes they don't even make it out. She did say that, yes, go ahead, Suleiman, please.
Sorry, I do. What's important is, what's the reason the women haven't been released? So we'll talk about their reason for the men, but that doesn't apply for the women. So that's another important point to consider.
Yeah, do you want to surmise on that now, or do you want to hold till we get
it?
Yeah,
go right basically, ahead. The judge gave a couple of reasons why he believes that the men shouldn't be, so the tapes should not be released on our remand. And one of the reasons was that they could leave the country. And the argument he used was that, on one of the clips of Andrew Tate, he says, "I've got multiple passports."
Oh shit, the judge okay. Oh, I was just guessing. So the judge has actually seen those exact videos and has an exact opinion based on, oh, well, there, hell yeah.
And the worst thing about that is that video clip from social media has been used. And for me, that's just unacceptable. Like, if you're being viewed from the international perspective, you need to do things in a high level manner. So just to think that they've used something from social media to make a decision is horrendous, because what you should be doing is, to determine if someone's got passports, is to ring embassies and ring the requisite countries and find out if they have the said passport. So that's the first thing that they have concerns with. And someone like Andrew Tate, he won't be able to leave the country. He's a well-known, popular person, one of the most Googled mans on the planet. If he was to move countries or go to any other country, people would know about it, and then he'd be on the run for the rest of his life. So it's just a ridiculous notion that they think.
Quite some time since the academy has been open.
Doesn't Romania have other countries around it and roads and cars? What do you mean he can't leave the country? What is he talking about? How far back is Romania? How far back into the Dark Ages are we? Like, what?
Marked by lightning.
Is Romania an island in the middle of like next to Hawaii? I'm so confused. Jesus. Hold on.
5, 4.
And the second,
backdoor Andrew.
If he was to move countries or go to any other country, people would know about it, and then he'd be on the run for the rest of his life. So it's just a ridiculous notion that they think that would happen. And the second thing is that they said that by letting Andrew Tate go, the view of the people about the judicial system in Romania will decrease. So then one thinks, like, what is it about letting Andrew Tate go that would cause people to think about the Romanian judicial system in a bad way? Well, the only thing one can surmise is that they're concerned that Andrew Tate, who is a very influential man, will speak. And when he speaks and talks about like his accusations, it's going to make them look foolish. And so for that reason, they don't want him out. So that's the reason they don't want him out. But then that can't apply to the women, because what's the reason they've been held? They don't have no social media impact. They don't have influence in society. They've been noticing that they have multiple passports. So what's the reason that they've been held? So just another example of injustice.
So I would surmise that the reason that the women are being held is because there's a fear that they would speak out and that they would get on social media. You've seen, and we'll get into some of the other women who have been labeled as...
If this was true, why wouldn't they just arrest everybody? One thing I never understand is how these things will be like, the only reason these people are being held in jail is because the government doesn't want them to speak out. Well, then why wouldn't they arrest like all the other girls that are trying to speak out too? And it's like, well, and then you always get into some weird point. It's like, well, they're powerful enough to like hold two like multimillionaires and whatever, and their associates, but like not others. It always like, it never makes any sense. Like it's that simultaneous like super powerful and not powerful at all. I don't know.
Victims who've come out and said, actually, we're not victims. There was an update on that last night. That's outrageous in my view, that we will get to as well. But I think there's a fear of exposure as to what's going on behind the scenes. And if they're so concerned, frankly, about the Romanian judicial system looking bad, how do they think it's going to look right now with what's going on? That they're being held without charges? I mean, people's perceptions of what's going on in Romania in terms of DICOT, in terms of the political system, in terms of the manipulation, are already pretty poor. And the longer...
Yeah, but why are they poor? Because of propagandists like you? Like, that? What a stupid thing to say. Like, no shit.
This is your fault.
The longer this goes on without justification, the worse it's going to get. One quick note about social media that I will respond to is that if they are using social media as a basis for why an Andrew Tate would be a flight risk, and my audience knows I've mentioned this several times about why I thought, oh yeah, they're worried about a flight risk because of that exact clip that Suleiman just brought up. What else are they using social media as a basis for? I mean, is this guy in prison?
To be clear, by the way, I don't know if you fucking guys have you figured this out yet, or how stupid you are. And it's funny because in any other context, a conservative would be like, oh, well, you need to be responsible, blah, 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 blah. People are going to use social media to evaluate every aspect of your life. No shit, Sherlock Holmes. Don't say dumb shit on social media. Your parents are going to use it to bust you. Your jobs are going to use it to f you out of employment opportunities. Cops are going to use it to indict you or to actually convict you of crimes. Like, yeah, no shit. People are going to look at you giving a constant stream of surveillance of yourself on the internet for the entire world to see. Why are you surprised about that? That's like the most, that seems just like, it's like the most obvious shit in the fucking world. Like, yeah, duh. Why is this even controversial?
Based off of social media clips, I have to ask.
Stop self-snitching.
Because where is the evidence? If they're using social media as a basis for one thing, is it not, you know, possible that they're using social media as a basis for something else? Highly probable, in my opinion. Okay. One thing before we get back to Suleiman that Tina Glandian did say, they're strong and resilient, they are holding up. If you have seen video though, of the guys, it's taken a toll. I mean, Andrew seems more, to me, taking that deep breath. Tristan seems a bit frazzled by this, and now that I know that he has a 3-week-old baby that he has no access to and has never met, that's perfectly reasonable justification, by the way, for him to be frazzled.
That's, oh, frazzled, okay, sure.
About what's going on. Do you, Suleiman, do you think there is legitimate cause for concern about their safety at this point? There's been a lot of talk. Andrew has come out in the past and said, first they're going to jail me, then they're going to they could try to kill me. You know, he's talked about this before. Is there legitimate concern about their safety?
He's going to say yes, of course. Oh my God.
I do believe that it is, and Alex, and
these people are bots, dude. What, like, if they're willing to go this far to lock him up on false evidence, like, who's to say that, like, just like Epstein was definitely killed by police, who's to say that the Tates won't be killed by somebody as well? Like, they can even pass it off as a prisoner doing it and blah blah blah.
Illogical to think that they wouldn't be, because we know if someone wants to take out someone like Andrew Tate, this would be the best situation to do so. We've seen it in the past with Epstein and so on and so forth. And
just give me the code, okay? Give me the prompt, okay? And I'll write these people's scripts. I can do it ahead of time, okay? I can write the script for these guys, okay? I can write the script for these guys.
The issue is this. You know, like, for example, Tate, people who are fans of Tate call it the Matrix. Well, we know what it means. It means, for example, the deep state or the liberal leftist Western ideology or whatever it may be. But there's a great, and you've alluded to it as well earlier on, there's a great concern about this guy and the influence he has on society. I would say the level of influence he has can impact even elections. Because if he was to come out and say, as an example, I support Donald Trump or I support Joe Biden, whatever it may be, that would sway a significant amount.
Are Tate fans just now discovering what a celebrity is? Like, yeah, any celebrity can have an impact on any election. No f***ing shit, Sherlock Holmes. Like, that's not new. Like,
people. So someone like that is a risk, is a concern, and you've seen it with his cancellations. There would be a situation where they would consider that. And remember, you know, society is very fickle. So they know that they could, you know, these type of things can easily happen and people forget. So I do have serious concerns about that.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying, Tina Glandian, get in the jail and get in the jail now. Don't wait. I'm telling you, get in the jail now. She also made a statement before we get to the raid. We're going to go back to the raid. We're going to get to prosecutor links. We're going to dig into the thick of these of these accusations and allegations.
Okay.
Before we get to that, one last question for you before we start our deep dive here.
Deep dive,
Glandian
guys.
also said, quote, there's outside pressures on the proceedings in question. She's saying that due to Andrew's very public profile. I have long argued now, while I've been observing this for the last month plus, that they are...
Is this who you're debating? I'm debating this independent journalist guy. In I think like 3 or 4 days on Dress Pearly Show in London. That's why I'm going out of town.
Many individuals in media, in politics, are trying to try this case in the court of public opinion. And
no, they're not. They're trying it in the Romanian legal system.
They are trying to make people dislike this guy pulling clips, doing this, and hoping that that will get people on their side, so that if a conviction comes down, or if he's held without evidence, or if there are any shenanigans, there's enough of the population that says, oh, I can't stand this guy, I saw this short, he said this, that there won't be any outcry. Do you believe that they are trying to try this case in the court of public opinion, Suleiman?
Yes, of course.
100%. And you see that throughout social media and media. So in mainstream media, you will be lucky if you can even find one or two articles that are positive about Andrew Tate. And similarly, when it comes to alternative media, including social media, 80-90% of all articles or all statements, all posts are negative. And that has a serious impact. We've seen on social media, and as we go into the evidence, we'll go a bit more deeper, but we've seen on social media where people take out significant clips out of context. And it's only when you look into it and you look into the context, you realize that there's no justification of that. There's just assumptions made or statements made without any blowback about what they say. I can give you an example. Someone from the New York Post contacted me and he asked me questions. And in there, he wrote the self-proclaimed misogynist Andrew Tate. So I asked him, like, what's your evidence that he's a self-proclaimed misogynist? So he sent me a link of a BBC article. I then looked at the article and I said, that's not a primary source. He then sent me a link to a podcast. I watched the podcast, and ironically, Andrew Tate says the opposite. He says, you guys call me a misogynist, but you're sheep and you're being brainwashed into thinking that, but I'm not. So that's the level of that's the level of impact that social media has, that everyone just assumes he's a misogynist, that everybody assumes he's a bad guy. The negative of this is, as you said, this is actually having an impact on the judiciary, because essentially when we get down to the evidence, it's his word against their word. Well, his word, as well as all the women against the alleged victim's word. And one way of saying, oh, we don't believe him, is because, oh, guess what? This clip's on social media, and so therefore he must be like that. So that has had an impact on the judicial decision making, which is just horrendous, because you would never have that. Like in any other court of law, you would be looking at the videos either in the entirety, in context, or you'd be able to defend it. So I just think that's totally unacceptable. But you're right, that is happening.
Yeah.
Joe, it's Casey.
bathroom.
All right. I told you I don't commit to women who take their phones into the bathroom.
I just forgot this one time, okay?
Okay.
So, are we good then?
Yep, I called you an Uber.
This is so petty.
Call it what you want, but this is how I move, and you've known this from the start.
Ladies, don't pretend you've never texted an ex in the bathroom.
Or swiped for sausage on Tinder while in the shower.
Or God knows what else you don't want your man to find out about. Hey, Kim wants to go to a concert tonight.
Cool.
Can I go?
What are you asking me for? I'm not your father.
Well, you said you don't commit to women who go to concerts.
Indeed I did.
So what happens from here?
Well, you can either choose to go to the concert or stay in a relationship with me.
All right.
Greetings, sir, and ma'am.
Open the car door for the lady for the date. That's good. Oh, ladies first for now. Obviously, once you get married, tell that whore to open up all the doors for you. But at the beginning, you do ladies first.
Reservation for Donovan Sharp. How do you pronounce your name, by the way? Adalia. Yes.
That was flirting? How do you pronounce your name, Adelia?
Feels like we're drawn to find escape.
It should only take a moment to set up for a new lesson.
Feels like we're lost but found our way. We are young and free, so let us be. We used to break, but now we see with so much clarity. Can you imagine letting our dreams run wild? Can you imagine
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We'll fade into blinding light. Who cares what we do tonight? Oh, can you imagine? Imagine. Just let our hearts wake our minds. We are young and free, so let us be. We used to break, but now we see with so much clarity. Can you imagine letting our dreams run wild? Can you imagine living it all behind this time? We'll fade into blinding light. Who cares what we do tonight? Oh, can you imagine?
Five, 4, 3, You lit the fire within me. Our flame lights up the dark. I'll give you all that you've given. One more time, ignite the spark. 'Cause we're living our dream for the night. We're in motion till we wake. If I go under, you keep me alive. Now it's time to give and take. Won't you keep me breathing, breathing, breathing till the end? And now I need this feeling more than I need oxygen. Won't you keep me breathing, breathing, breathing till the end? And now I need this feeling more than I need oxygen. is now gone. They won't let me give it.
What are these birds doing here?
I will never surrender. Will free the earth and the sky. Crush my heart to embers, and I will I'm a scat man. I'm a scat man. I'm a scat man. I'm a scat I'm a scat man.
Sensation like falling. No fear to be found. A movement of people, the makers of sound. Image and energy, all future bound. Alchemists creating a science of sound. Keeping you guessing, feeling the stress, feeling the pressure, release with finesse, Vader in fashion, speakers and sound. Take it away to the underground.
Five.
shy, bringing me down to the deep end. Back off, and let me lose my mind.
Don't be afraid. Wherever you go, I'll guide you. Walk with me. Look for the halos. If we're running out of time, we can let it take over.
5, 4. Haunted by your grace, you know I'm falling. So cold without you, always in my mind. I hear you calling. Haunted by your grace, you know I'm falling. So cold without you, always in my mind. I hear you call, I hear you calling. So far away, you're gone so long. Oh, and I'm waiting till that day I take you home. Know that I'm waiting.
Welcome to Extra Throttle House. I'm Thomas.
And I'm James.
Hvad så, ikke choks for satan, men jeg kan godt nok ikke... Det var da utroligt, vi ikke... Jeg ved ikke, om du så den der 18'er der. Men nederen, vi ikke timede den. Helvede du. Was call, but no fucking cigar.
I think you guys are talking about Bossa Nova.
Bro.
Oh my god.
Bro, who is that upstairs? But I just brought my Spider Girls too.
Oh my gosh.
You know, Pippin gonna bring some Pippin, you know what I'm saying?
You got Spider Girls?
Yeah, I just got Spider Girls.
Do you reckon if someone showed you a picture of the back of your hand, you would actually know it?
Welcome back to another episode of Artisan Electrics. Today I'm back at an EICR where I was moaning and putting the world to right. There's some common mistakes I found here, so we're going to go through those today and how simple it would be to repair them or just do it properly. It's just laziness in all honesty. So let's get into it. So Ruben's going to be cracking on with the consume unit. I did say on the EICR that it needed some blanks filling in, but the customers decided to just replace it. And while he's doing that, I'm going to focus on the remedials inside the property. I was looking for a screwdriver and all I have is rubbish in my pocket.
Flathead.
Let's get some tools, whoops. Oh, see, that's the old colours. This is the best colours. It makes no sense now where we have brown, black and grey. Look at that. That just makes sense, doesn't it? You know exactly which one the live one is.
Sorry.
It was going to be earth the other end, this SWA, but gland it properly. I'll see if I've got another gland. See if I've got a piranha nut to stick on it as well.
This is the board I'm putting in. Cheeky little 7-way, not too shabby. Yeah, it should be easy. There's only 2 ways in the old board, just light and then power. So stick that in, fill it up with blanks so that in the future, if they ever wanted any more circuits, they can just add it, bunch of space, and it will look slick as well. So win-win. Pretty sure this is actually on, which is why I hate these boards, because it's so like deceiving. It says off, but I'm pretty sure that is off. Or am I wrong? I could be wrong. We'll see. I'm trying to remember, is it that way? Yeah. I think that is right.
Is that on or off at the moment? This is what I was pointing out.
Right.
It's once you've got the cover off, it's awkward to tell whether that's on or off. Is the board on or off?
I mean, it seems like it's on.
Yeah, so that would be showing, wouldn't it? If the cover's on.
Right, okay.
That would be showing. When it's switched off, it will be that way. I'm going to people moaning, I've got my fingers in a live board. But yeah, so it's so easy on these. Some of the modern ones do have a little strip across these, so they're quite dangerous to work on. And then when you turn them on, if these ain't on, you can slip and touch them.
Oh.
I have slipped and touched them before. This is why I go on about it so much. So the buzz bar's dead now. Right. So we need to prove dead, so we need to isolate this circuit.
Right, okay.
Yeah?
Yep.
So I've got a proving unit here.
Very nice.
I think it needs new batteries. Right, cool. Right, let's go and isolate. I just wanted to prove that was working. The other day it failed when I was with Max. Smooth. Okay, do you want to go and prove that's off? Good man. So you happy that's off?
Yep.
Yeah, 100%?
Yep.
I won't have an apprentice work on it without me touching it first. So my lock-off device doesn't fit very well on the MCB or the the isolator here. I saw people commented before, why did I take the cables out of the breaker? If you have an RCD and you're working on a circuit, if you don't take the neutral out, you can get nuisance stripping. And if someone's working from home or what have you, it means that someone has to physically come here, use a tool, and to get into it. And if you have control of the property or the cupboard, as in it's under a lock and key like on the emergency lighting job, it's a much more effective way of isolating the power. So this is now disconnected and will remain so until Ruben's finished out there, although it looks like UK Power Networks are about to cut the power anyway. You want to have, there is a bending radius to these, and I mean, even it's not too sharp, but you want them to be, if you bend them both around the same thing, they'll match and it'll look much nicer. So Ruben's all set up here. We're going to leave him to it. He's going to strip out. If I'm just inside. If he does need me, I'll come and check on him now and then, and I'll take you inside to have a look at the remedials I'm doing. So we've got to re-terminate all of the downlights on the ground floor. So if you remember, I think it was that one, cut my hand open. Or was it, yeah, that one I couldn't get back up, wasn't it? And cut my hand on it and all sorts, but they were terminated poorly, so we're going to re-terminate all of the downlights down here, and I think there's a socket to install, and replacing the hallway downlights as well. Just making eye contact with you while putting on these gloves. Oh dear. So one of the most common faults we come across on EICRs, and nearly every downlight I pull down, is this basic installation showing. I would say 99% of the downlights I take down are like this, and it's just a common mistake that we find on nearly every job. So it's only going to take me a minute or two to correct this, and all it would have took was for the original electrician or DIYer to just shorten the cable ever so slightly. It doesn't make it any more difficult to connect up, and it's just a shame really. Just a little bit of education would have saved this customer quite a bit of money. So the cable's now shortened, and when it's shut, there's no basic insulation showing whatsoever. Second common thing I find that can be done better is these connector blocks are never enclosed above these downlights. So as well as basic insulation, this is in a dangerous condition. Someone could have their hand on the floorboards and end up getting a packet off of it, so it should be enclosed. So I'm just in the kitchen now doing the same again. I think there's 6 or 7. So it's just exactly the same as next door. Nothing new, nothing interesting, except for that drawing of a washing machine. It's pretty good.
Okay. Eyesight is overrated. Just taking off this cleat so that I have a bit more wiggle room to either, well, take off the gland now and put on the new one in the board. Just that it's a bit easier than it being tied down. That is 25. That is a 20. Oh, beautiful. Cheap little piranha. Right, so I was faffing around for this for a while, and it defeated me, and I think I defeated it a little bit with the thread. I think it might have scuffed it up a bit, so I'm just gonna switch over for a fresh new one, stick a little piranha nut on there, just to earth the gland itself and the armouring, but yeah, should be all good. Okay, this is a bit sucky, right? That is a